Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Today I'm teaching you the 4 friends flow, which combines the 4 most common steel mace swings into one flow. By themselves, these swings will increase your mobility and strength, but combining them into a flow will dramatically also improve your coordination and balance. We'll take a look at the flows next, and then we'll dive in. Alrighty, the first of 4 total swings is going to be the 10-2. This is definitely the simplest movement, but it is the most important to master because it leads to the rest. So to perform this, I'm gonna start in my warrior stance with just one hand on the mace, and then I'm going to drop the mace over my opposite shoulder and pull. Just like a 360, except that I'm gonna be stopping short in this 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock position like you'd see on a clock. And from here, I'll switch to the other hand, take the original hand off, and then go back the other way. And I'm simply going to be switching between these two. And it's important I don't over pull or under pull. What I'm looking to do is get a nice balanced 10-2 pull so that the mace is stopping exactly where I want it to be. And this is important for the rest of the flow because of the second swing that we're going to go into next. Our second swing is the drop swing. And similar to the first, I'm gonna be starting out in my warrior stance, except just one hand on the mace. And what I'm going to do is just bring it to the side. I'm gonna drop the mace head out and then across my body and switch. And I'm looking to pivot my body with the mace so I'm able to keep my hand relatively close to my core while I'm holding. And this is to provide the best anchor point for the mace to spin around. So I'm gonna practice this, make sure that it's very comfortable. I'm looking to have the mace come a few feet off the ground, maybe a little bit above horizontal. And this is going to be our second movement. Now, if you can read my mind, you can see where I'm going with this. So I'm gonna teach you how to integrate the 10-2 with the drop swing. And this integration is actually going to involve 2 hands on the mace. So I'm gonna come into my warrior stance, both hands on the mace. I'm gonna do over one shoulder, pause in the 10-2, and then I'm going to drop swing to the other side, and then 10-2, 1, and then back, and then drop swing. And just repeat that little mini flow. And this is going to teach you how to integrate the 10-2 with the drop swing. And this is really important because the rest of the 4 friends flow builds on these first 2 movements. So once you've mastered this, you can move on to movement number 3. Movement number 3 is a mill, which is essentially the complementary movement to the 360, because instead of closing my shoulder joint as I pull across my body, the mill is going to open my shoulder joint. And that is the reason we're going to be using it. This is our 3rd friend. So to perform the mill, we're gonna start off with a really basic version of it. I'm just gonna be holding roughly in the middle of the mace. You can go a little higher if you wanna make it easier though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go from vertical to horizontal, drop it behind with my elbow pointing up, and the mace goes vertical again, tilt my body, and then pull out. And then I'll push the head of the mace out and swing around, and then I will repeat. So this is our basic mill, and make sure that you can do a few reps on each side nice and comfortably. And you can also bring it back to center, grab in the middle, and then just go on to the other side. And so that way, you can alternate nice and easily. You can also do multiple reps in a row like this. Most important thing is that it feels smooth and that your elbow actually points up. And this is critical for building our strength and our mobility, and it's also critical just for the actual movement pattern and conserving the momentum of the mace, because we're looking to still move it like a pendulum. And our elbow pointing up allows the mace to swing more naturally as we pull it out. So it takes less energy for us to do it if we allow that elbow to point up. So that is the 3rd, that's the mill, and here is how we're going to integrate it into the 4 friends flow. I'm gonna come into my warrior stance with just one hand on the mace again, and from here I'm gonna drop the mace over the opposite shoulder. I'm gonna pause in that 10-2 and drop swing. From here, I'm gonna grab with that opposite hand, release the original hand, and I'm gonna drop the mace behind into that mill. And then I'm simply going to push the mace out just like we did before, swing around, and this time I'm gonna let it drop behind and repeat. And this is our basic pattern. You can also call this the 3 friends flow. I love doing this for warm-ups. And I'm just going around in a 10-2, drop swing, mill, and essentially another drop swing across my body. And that is our pattern. So make sure that you can master this flow first, because the 4 friends flow, the full thing, is much more complex because of the 4th swing. So master this and get nice and comfortable with it, and then we can move on to the 4th swing. Alrighty, our 4th swing is the samurai swing. I'm gonna demonstrate what that looks like first in this plane of motion before I show you the pivot that goes into the 4 friends flow. So the samurai swing, just kind of like our 10-2, is going to be dropping the mace over one shoulder, but I'm going to continue the momentum across my body and around, and then up again. So I'm actually never stopping the mace, I'm simply dropping it through, allowing it to fall behind my head once more, and continuing. And you'll notice the pattern my elbow makes is also trying to point up, and that's going to help us here as well. I'll do a few on the other side so you can see, and you'll note that this is pretty intense on your bicep because you're actually having to hold the mace in this pretty closed arm position. And likewise, it's also challenging for your wrist because you're actually having to swing with the mace swinging out to the side while your wrist is in this open position. So it's actually spectacular for your wrists, but you have to build up to it first. If you're looking to build up to it, some of the best things I can say are just like being able to stretch your wrist like this with the mace, or be able to actually, on a flat surface, be able to move your wrist like you would in a push-up position, be able to flex around that to gain that mobility. So definitely start there because the samurai swing is challenging, even in just this plane of motion. Now I'm gonna show you how it integrates into the 4 friends flow. So as you might recall from the beginning, the 4 friends flow begins with the 10-2, drop swing, mill, and then I'm going to step and swing to the other side. I'm gonna continue, outside mill, and then I'll step back and swing the mace in that same pattern. And this is the reason it's incredibly important to master the samurai swing first, because you're actually going to be doing a pivot with it between the mill into the samurai swing. And here is the biggest tip I can give you for that. So, as I go through this drop swing and into the mill, notice when I pivot. Notice when one of my legs makes a step. It is when I drop the mace and step to the other side. So it is actually when I begin my mill. It's when I initiate the mill that I step and then I drop the mace outside, bring it around, and then continue, drop, and pivot. And the reason for this is that I'm looking to keep the center of gravity of the mace as close to my own center of gravity. You can see the mace is pretty close to my spine, and that is going to mean that it's easier for me to pivot while it's in motion, as if I were trying to pivot while it's out here, and it becomes much more challenging for my muscles to actually perform that because I'm completely off balance. So that is the 4 friends flow. We'll do one more on each side so you can see. Again, one hand, 10-2, drop swing, mill and pivot, drop it through samurai, drop behind, drop swing, mill, step through, samurai. And that is how you do it, my friends. So try this flow out. Let me know if you have any questions, and fantastic job on it, because once you really build it up, it gets pretty complex. So awesome job. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to get more out of your steel mace, and I will see you on the next Flow Made Simple video. Peace.